Hello friends, welcome to the Bake Shop with Mr. Egg. I mean, the art room, silly me. By the way, today we're going to be making some clay cupcakes. I got my clay ready, got my sculpting tools, let's get started. Alright, so the basis of our clay cupcake is going to be actually a pinch pot, which I generally teach my first graders about, and then you can make all kinds of things in later years with a pinch pot. So I'm going to pinch off a little bit of clay to get started. I can use for later. I might need to get a little bit more. That's fine. So to make a pinch pot, you first roll your clay into a ball. Then you push your thumb inside, not all the way through, but pretty deep. That's going to give it some room to breathe and help it dry evenly. Then you gently pinch the walls of your clay between your thumb and your fingers like this, gently. Then you turn it, press, back and forth, over and over, until you get a thickness about the width of your pinky. There you go. And it doesn't take much. And then you can smooth it out. As you can see, my clay is starting to get dry already, so you can either put a little water on there and rub that in, or just I would first just rub it with your thumbs and see if you can smooth it out, because if your clay gets too wet you can't work with it very well and it'll just turn into a puddle of slime, and that's not good. Alright, so I've already got my pinch pot, so I'm going to turn that over, and it should have, oh, by the way, when you're making your pinch pot, be sure that you're holding it, don't put it down on the table, because that would make the bottom of your pinch pot flat, and we want it to be rounded because that's the top of our cupcake. Alright, so this is our cupcake. See the cupcake? Looks like it needs to be smoothed out a little bit. No problem. Alright, now we need to put some fun toppings on this thing. I like to start with the icing, so I'm going to get my extra clay. I'm going to smash it flat, pretty thin. Not paper thin, because then it will definitely break when it dries, but pretty thin, like so. And it's going to go on top like this. So if you just set it on there and let it dry, it will absolutely fall off when the clay dries. So we have to join it somehow, and we're going to do that with scoring. Scoring is cutting lines into your clay, and I cut it into the bottom of my icing as well. I'm going to get a little water, put that onto those lines that I just put in, and then I'm going to firmly press down, and that will help join those two pieces of clay together. Then I'm going to get my finger wet and polish the edges so it looks nice and smooth. You don't want the line to disappear, because we want that to be the icing, but you also don't want it to be all dry and cracked looking. That's not delicious. Alright, now you can put whatever kind of topping you want on. You could, I'm going to do a little dollop of whipped cream, so I'm going to roll this into a coil, like so, and wrap this around like this. Very cute. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to cut some lines into it, add some water, and securely push that onto the top of my cupcake, and it kind of looks like a cherry now, but that's fine. I also want some sprinkles, so I'm going to get just a very tiny coil. My hands are wet, so it's sticking to me, and I can't really score the sprinkles very much, but I can score around on my icing. And this is where I'm going to put my sprinkles. So I'm going to make some more sprinkles, and I'm going to get them wet and press them into the score holes. Alright, so I decided to add a stem onto what turned out to be a cherry. I think that my whipped cream was looking a little bit like a tiny poop, and I didn't want a poop cupcake, so I like this cherry better. I also have my nice sprinkles, so the last thing we got to do is, you know how cupcakes have that lined paper? We got to put our lines on the side of this cupcake to make it look like a cupcake. So to do that, hold it in one hand and gently, with your sculpting knife, press some lines into the outside of the side of the cupcake all the way around. And here's my finished cupcake. I think it turned out pretty cute. The stem of the cherry, if you're going to try cherry, make it kind of thick, because anything that's thin, when it dries, can be very fragile. And be sure that you have the hole in the bottom of your cupcake, because that's going to help it dry evenly. Now this is going to dry for a few weeks, and then I will put it into the kiln, which is a special oven made just for baking clay. When it comes out, it will be very hard, like glass, and it will be white and ready to paint. And once this is painted, it's going to be super fun and colorful and delicious looking. So that's it. So now it's your turn to make your cupcake. I hope you have a good time. I will see you next time at the bake shop.